6.6 seconds. The score tied at 81. Atlanta's home crowd on their feet. Angel Reese with the ball, position secured, nobody between her and the rim. She missed it. Rhyne Howard had already missed a three-pointer to try to close the game out, but Reese grabbed the offensive rebound with Aaliyah Boston on her back. Barely a real contest, and her putback attempt rolled off the right side of the rim. The dream of a buzzer beater was gone, and the overtime clock was coming. But that's not what anyone was talking about after the final whistle. ESPN's cameras caught what happened next. As Reese buried her face in her hands, Clark walked past her toward the bench with a visible smile, unable to hide her amusement at her rival's misfortune. The clip went viral within minutes. And just like that, this rivalry had its newest defining image. This wasn't supposed to be this close. The Dream and Fever had split their 4 2026 regular season meetings heading into this one, each team winning twice, so there was already playoff-level edge to the atmosphere at State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Alicia Gray kept the Dream competitive with 32 points, but she went cold at the very end of regulation and in overtime. And when you're relying on your star guard to carry the offense down the stretch, eventually you need your other weapons to step up. For Angel Reese, it was a game of two halves, and neither half was entirely clean. Reese herself admitted she was struggling early. "I was playing like S in the beginning," she said after the game. "It's a game of runs. You got to put that in your back pocket just because you know you have teammates that have your back." That self-awareness is admirable. But admitting the slow start didn't change the stat line. Reese finished 5 of 16 from the floor and was held scoreless in the fourth quarter. For a player who has dealt with criticism about her interior finishing since she entered this league, going ice-cold on layups in a tight game with this much on the line was brutal timing. And then came the final sequence. Let's be precise here, because social media tends to run with the most dramatic interpretation of anything involving these two. With the score tied at 81, the Atlanta Dream held possession. Rhyne Howard received the ball and created separation before releasing a three-pointer. It fell short. Reese was already positioned in the paint and grabbed the offensive rebound with a clear look at the basket. She missed it. The ESPN broadcast cameras then caught Caitlin Clark smiling in the background right after Reese's miss, while Reese could be seen showing frustration about what just happened. At about the 12-second mark of the clip circulating online, you can see Clark walking through the background of the shot, grinning, giving a little wave, as Reese is left despair over the miss and commiserating with her teammates. Was Clark laughing directly at Reese? Was she just relieved her team survived regulation? It's impossible to say for certain what exactly Clark was smiling at, and whether it was indeed because of Reese missing what should have been an easy make. But the timing, the placement of the camera, and the history between these two made the interpretation almost inevitable. The internet didn't wait for context. The clip spread immediately, with reactions flooding in from across the sports media world. Hall of Fame sportscaster Linda Cohn wrote, "Sometimes life happens the way it's supposed to, especially with these two." DraftKings posted, "Caitlin Clark laughing at the Dream after Angel Reese missed a layup to win at the buzzer. The rivalry is alive." Fan reactions were predictably split. One user wrote, "She laughed because they survived, not at Angel. Y'all really starting to be a piece of shit." Another fired back, "Nah, she laughed because Angel missed her 175th layup this season." A third simply replied, "How does she smoke so many layups?" That last comment cuts to the heart of what's actually being debated here. Not just the smile, but the pattern. This is the uncomfortable conversation that Reese's supporters don't want to have, and her critics have been waiting to have. Reese is a post player who shoots 42% from the floor. She had improved in that aspect and had some big offensive games this season, but her close-range finishing abandoned her at the worst possible moment. A game-winning putback layup, the kind of shot that a power forward playing around the rim is supposed to make in her sleep, was left rolling off the iron with the season's direction hanging in the balance. "It happens," said Aaliyah Gray after the game. "We know any other time Angel will make the shot. She knows she'll make the shot. In that moment, you've just got to encourage your teammates." That's a teammate being loyal, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the broader pattern is real. Critics have been making compilation videos of Reese's rim misses since her rookie season, and those videos keep getting ammunition. The question is whether the criticism is fair or whether the standard being applied to Reese is selectively harsh. She put up 15 points and 14 rebounds in this game, including 5 offensive boards. Kelsey Mitchell ultimately hit the go-ahead layup with 13.6 seconds left in overtime to seal a 95-91 Fever win. Clark finished with 26 points and 9 assists. 2 stars, 1 winner, and 1 moment that nobody's going to forget anytime soon. If you're watching this and you want to follow the rest of the 2026 season with us as this rivalry heads toward the playoffs, hit subscribe. We're covering every development on this channel. Here's something that got buried under the layup miss and Clark's reaction. There was another incident earlier in this game that also went viral, just in a different direction. With about 4:10 remaining in the first quarter, Clark and Reese were in the paint as Reese positioned herself to rebound the ball. Upon resistance from Clark, Reese appeared to make contact with Clark and shove her away. But when Clark turned to the refs for a foul call, no whistle sounded. Clips of the incident quickly went viral, spreading across social media, with one post earning over 344,000 views. Fans and commentators noted the sequence, with some analysts pointing to it as another example of the inconsistent officiating that has followed this rivalry throughout its existence. This is the officiating double standard debate that never gets fully resolved. In the 2025 season opener, it was Clark who received a flagrant 1 foul for hard contact on Reese. The refs ruled her windup, impact, and follow-through on a left-hand extension to Reese's back was unnecessary contact, not a legitimate basketball play. In this game, it appears Reese made contact with Clark's neck area and got nothing called. Both players have been on the receiving end. Both have been on the giving end. The officials have not been consistent, and when you have 2 players this high profile in the same game, every non-call becomes a national debate by the next morning. After the game, Clark was asked about the competition, and she was characteristically measured. "These are the games you get up for. That's what's fun about competition," Clark said. "You want to play the best. It brings out the best in you." She said nothing publicly about the moment that had already been viewed millions of times. She didn't address the smile, didn't acknowledge it, didn't clarify it. Which is exactly what you'd expect from a player who has spent her entire career downplaying the rivalry whenever a microphone gets put in her face. Clark has consistently maintained there's no personal beef. After the 2025 season opener flagrant foul incident, she said, "Let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it." But her face on that ESPN broadcast told a different story. Or at least, that's the story tens of millions of people chose to believe. Reese, for her part, showed more self-awareness than her critics tend to give her credit for. She didn't deflect with excuses. She admitted she was bad in the first half, credited her teammates, and acknowledged the game slipped away. She finished with 15 points, 14 rebounds including 5 offensive, and 6 assists. A stat line that in any other context would be considered an excellent game. The problem is that context in sports is everything. And the context here was, your team needed a close-range layup to win, and you didn't make it. The rivalry now stands at 2 wins each in 2026 regular season play. The 4 matchups were split evenly as both teams head toward the postseason. That means if these 2 meet again, and playoff seeding could absolutely make that happen, the next game will carry the weight of everything that came before it. The 2023 championship taunt. The 2025 flagrant foul. The smile that launched 1,000 memes. There's a reason this clip went global in about 45 minutes. It's not just because Angel Reese missed a layup and Caitlin Clark smiled. It's because this rivalry has spent 3 years building pressure, and every small moment becomes a pressure release valve that the entire internet runs through. This is how intensely every single interaction between these two is inspected. At the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game, cameras captured Reese clapping after the final buzzer, only to freeze when Clark's name echoed across the arena speakers. That brief pause sparked an immediate reaction across social media. Critics accused Reese of being envious of her rival. Supporters argued she was talking to a nearby teammate and missed the announcement entirely. That's where this rivalry lives now. Every expression, every sideline reaction, every smile in the background of someone else's pain. It all gets analyzed, clipped, and distributed to millions of people who have already decided what they think they're seeing. The arrival of these two players has catapulted the WNBA into one of the most popular sports leagues in the country. That's not hype. That's what sellout arenas, record television ratings, and overnight viral clips of a regular season game confirm. The league has never looked like this before. And whether you're in Clark's corner or Reese's, whether you think that smile was cold-blooded trolling or just a player walking past in a good mood, one thing is undeniable. You watched. You clicked. You're here. That's what this rivalry does. And with the playoffs approaching, it's only going to escalate. The two players were on the court together in the 2025 season for only one game before Clark's injuries kept her out of the remaining 4 Chicago Sky matchups. In 2026, they've been healthy, they've been on the same floor, and they've split the series. Playoff basketball, if it comes to that, would be a different animal entirely. The question now is whether Reese uses this moment as fuel, which she historically does, or whether the image of Clark smiling behind her becomes the lasting visual of this chapter of the rivalry. Reese has bounced back from worse. She's built her brand on refusing to be defined by other people's narratives. But Clark just smiled her way into the next meme cycle. And that's not nothing in the attention economy that women's basketball now operates in. The next chapter is coming, and when it does, you're going to want to be paying attention.